The upcoming podcast is with Mr. Mack Lynch. Mack Lynch is from Castalia, North Carolina, Franklin County. And one of the reasons I wanted to have an interview with Mr. Lynch is that I found out through social media that he and I both are from North Carolina and from the same county, Franklin County. And what I wanted to know through talking to Mack was, what was it like for him growing up in segregated North Carolina, Franklin County, as a kid into his teenage years. And I found out later, just like me, he graduated from high school, straight out of high school, and joined the military. Now, Mack went straight from segregation into an integrated military. He comes from very humble beginnings, and I found his story to be quite interesting. Here's Mr. Mack Lynch's story. I did a review on what you and I talked about the last time. Everything looks good, sounds good, but for some reason, the first 5 minutes have the video, but I lost the audio. So what I want to do was just revisit maybe the first 5 minutes of questions that I was asking you on the first recording, and it was basically I was asking you about your mom and dad. So if you don't mind, tell me again about your mother and father.
Well, like I said, my father was a sharecropper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they were not into politics, either local or national, that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
If they were, I never knew anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And both my mother and father came out of Halifax County.
Okay.
And so did most of my direct ancestors,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
were born there.
Mm-hmm.
But we moved quite a bit when I was growing up. So
in the same general area?
Yeah, all of it right around a community called Cedar Rock. Okay. In Franklin County.
Uh-huh.
It was, I guess it's just a rural farm community.
Mm-hmm. So he would, so your father would move, because he was a sharecropper. He would move to those different locations so that he'd be right there where the work was being done.
Yeah, it depended on who needed somebody to work that year. So okay. And they have a little, let's call it a house, but it wouldn't qualify for a house now.
Right. These days it wouldn't. You say
no. So, and I guess there was a lot of things that went into it that I never knew about, like, like I don't know if I said this or not, but I always thought that the land owner or whatever was a well-to-do person.
Mm-hmm.
And later on in life, I found out that he really didn't own the land and farm. He was just leasing it. Or whatever. And then, I had a good life, but it was a hard life.
Yeah, I understand. So as a sharecropper, like you say, your dad, he would, I guess, supposedly at the end of the season, the guy that, like you said, thought owned the land, he's supposed to an even share. Was it supposed to be an even share? Which in my studies, I found out that it wasn't no such thing as an even share.
No, there ain't.
Mm-hmm.
It might be 50-50, but you buy all the fertilizer, seed, and all that. So that ain't really 50-50.
Okay.
There later on, he was mostly a day worker.
Okay.
but he did do some sharecropping.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, my
No.
last year at school, I had a little acre of tobacco that I
Mm-hmm.
was going to uh, improve my economical condition with.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the year, I think I got $45 or something like that.
And what would that be equivalent to, say, today? I mean, if you could put that into context,
Probably $300-400.
about $300-400. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That wasn't enough
Uh,
to get you that car, or like you said,
no,
those
no,
that
no, no.
new set of clothes you was looking for. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And your
yeah.
mom, like you said, she basically was a homemaker,
Housewife, yeah, housewife,
took care of the house.
homemaker.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, during the summer months, uh, when they put in tobacco, you
Mm-hmm.
know, everybody could get a job for the day.
Mm-hmm.
I remember making $5 or $6 a day, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that's a whole day too, buddy.
Yeah.
I ain't talking about,
I guess
yeah,
priming
yeah.
tobacco.
My mother was a looper.
Okay.
Uh, uh,
Yeah, I know.
so
I've done some priming myself. I didn't. My working on the farm. Like I said, I told you, I left uh, North Carolina when I was 7, but I came back when I was about 12, 13 years old, and we lived right out. I mean, I call it the country, man. I mean, we was in the woods. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you would go to town once a month.
yeah,
My aunt that we lived with, she didn't have no car, so yeah, we would have to. I guess some of the kinfolk out there we would catch a ride with and go to
yep,
town, and she would get a little supplies or whatever she needed.
yeah.
Uh, you
Sack of
know,
sack of flour,
yep,
uh,
yeah, there
sack
you
of
go.
sugar,
Hmm. That's right. Yep,
stand of lard.
yeah, yeah. And like you said, everything we had that wood heater in the middle of the house, and that's that's what she heated her house with.
Yep.
So, um, and you said wasn't many kids close by
No,
where you lived.
no, it wasn't. The first house we lived in, the only kids I remember, like I told you about my childhood friend got killed in an auto accident,
Mm-hmm.
QW, and that was his name, QW. I
Okay.
mean, it didn't stand for anything; it was just his name.
Mm-hmm.
Um, him and he was my friend. Then there were some other kids that lived a little further up the road, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, they were pretty bad.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so I never did associate with them.
Mm-hmm. Y'all had livestock? Any livestock
Chickens,
that you was raising?
chickens and pigs.
Uh-huh.
I can remember we had pig. I used to. Matter of fact, I got my butt tore up for taking my sister down to the pig pen and riding the pig.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
So were you raising the pig for
yeah.
to so
For
every year they would get a pig to raise to
well,
slaughter that.
I don't know. We had 2 or 3 pigs.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but down there, you had 3, 4 pigs, and the neighbors or the whoever your friends or your whatever family,
Mm-hmm.
y'all get together in the fall,
Right.
and you would kill the hogs
Mm-hmm.
and slice them and slaughter them. And
Oh yeah.
matter of fact, my wife's father was he did that
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of the neighborhood.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
and there's a skill in that,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that my dad raised hogs, and I remember in the fall how they would kill them and had that big old pot of water there. Uh,
Yeah, the vat. Yeah, we
yeah, the vat,
call
yeah, burning hair
it.
off, and oh man, and,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
smell. I can still remember the smell.
Yeah.
But hey, any part of the pig, I've had it. I ain't got no. I don't have no problem with it.
Except
Even
the aunt, and you can't
yeah,
get that, right?
you can't eat that. You can't eat that. Yes, sir. Not at all. And let me see, sister and brother.
I have one brother. He died as an infant when I
Mm-hmm.
was in first or second grade.
Okay.
Um, and I have one sister that lives in Rocky Mount.
Okay. She's still in the Carolinas.
Yeah,
Yeah. How old is
never
she?
left.
How old is she?
Uh, 70. She was born in 52, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
51 or 52.
Mm-hmm.
So
She
she's
doing pretty
she's
good.
retired too.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, she's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's good. That's good. That's good.
uh, Both
Okay.
her and her husband are retired from the pharmaceutical industry
Transition from part
in
one to
Rocky
part
Mount,
two of interview.
Alabama. So my mother's mother died shortly after giving childbirth to her,
Mm-hmm.
and matter of fact, my mother didn't. Well, I don't know what my mother knew, but I didn't know who my grandfather was.
Okay.
Okay, and that one of the things that started me on a genealogy journey
Mm-hmm.
is I wanted to know who he was.
Okay.
And my mother grew up with her aunts as a sister. So I still call them aunt, even though they're my great aunts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did call them that.
Yeah.
But, and the, other than the, the few aunts, my mother's aunts that I used to go visit regularly down in Nash County, I didn't have much family.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I did later on. I found out, Chester, that uh, the majority of the people in that area are somehow related. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know this at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and in fact, I didn't know I had any relatives at the school I went to.
Really.
Since found out different about that, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, I guess you live, you learn.
Yeah.
That's where you do things. You want to learn
Mm-hmm.
about them.
That's right. That's right.
Uh, you know, all in all, my childhood, I had a very guarded childhood. I
Mm-hmm.
guess it's guarded in that I was not aware of the world around me.
Right.
Uh, uh,
Yeah.
I was, and I guess my mother and father always provided for me.
Mm-hmm.
So didn't have none of the luxuries in life, but you know, I don't, and I still don't value real luxuries in life.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah. When you say,
my father,
not to cut you off, but when you say when with sharecropping was hard and how you would, you moved a lot and you would move into the, a shack or whatever shack you can move in. But see, and see, I can understand that. I can feel that because, although we are 5 years apart,
yeah,
I'll tell my story later, but I do want to relate some of what I'm feeling with you. Is that my upbringing at the time that I lived in Franklinton? We lived in what I would call a shack. I mean, no running water. Um, I remember sitting around with oil lamps and candles and stuff like that. Is that kind of what you
wood
referring
heaters,
to? Huh?
wood heaters.
Wood? Oh man, wood heaters. Yes, sir. My mama cooked on a wood stove.
Yeah,
You
now I
know.
ain't talking about a wood stove now. I'm talking about in the living room. You had that wood heater.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wood heater. Well, we had a stove in the kitchen that my mother cooked on, and I remember there was a stove in their, I guess you call it their bedroom. I mean, the house or the little shack was no more than I guess a box with that was cut off into four different sections, a kitchen or what you would call a living room. My mother and father had a bedroom, and then there was a room in the back where me and my two sisters slept in. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh huh.
I can remember, you know, you didn't have plates and stuff.
Mm.
You ate out of whatever will hold your food.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Uh, uh, that was very early in my life, but
Mm-hmm.
later on, I think we must have obtained some plates from someplace.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that very early on. Matter of fact, uh, you know what lard is?
Yeah. Yeah, from the hog.
Okay, yeah. Well, you used to have lard in a big stand. We call it a tub or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And as a child, I can remember getting on a lard stand to wash dishes in the kitchen.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
uh,
How did you get your water?
out of the well,
You actually
you
had a
you
well?
took you took a bucket out to the well and you drove the water.
Uh-huh.
Uh, some I thought it was a luxury. I don't know if you know what a pump is,
Oh
but
man, yeah. Yeah, I know what a pump is.
that was a luxury to have a pump.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, I was talking to my sister Martha, the one that you talked with a while back, a couple of weeks ago, and we were
mhm.
talking about the pump. There was a pump. I think it was. I don't know if we had. I think she said we had a pump, but I
You had to
remember there
prime
was.
them.
Oh yeah, and that's what I was getting ready to get to. You have to prime that pump sometime, right?
Yeah,
To get that water out of it,
yeah,
which meant that you couldn't use all of the water that you had in the house, because if you used all the water you had, you couldn't take any with you to bring some back.
yeah, yep,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, and like you say, what priming the pump. And let me ask you a question. Ben, you said that because Martha and I was talking about that priming that pump. Did you learn anything from that? From having to, you know, keep some water on hand to keep that, to take to that pump to get something out of it.
I don't know if I learned anything from it. You know that your resources are valuable.
Yes, right.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh, but you always had and they had that bucket of water
Mm-hmm.
in the kitchen
Yes.
with the dipper.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. And everybody used that same dipper.
Same dipper. The same dipper. Yes, sir. Sure did. Yeah.
It's wonder half of folks didn't die. you know.
Well, I don't remember being sick that much, Mac. To be honest with you, I'm quite sure there was some sickness going on, but I just can't recall much of that coming up as a kid.
No,
Yeah.
I used to like to pretend I was sick when I got, well, let's say around 10 or so.
Uh huh.
I don't know what I wanted to stay home for, but I wanted to stay home. And uh, one time, my mother, I pretended sick as soon as the bus went along. I get up, I'm running around. My mother got that castor oil out.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you ever had that stuff or not, but
It
that'll cure your sickness.
Kill,
Let me tell
kill you
you.
real quick. Uh, there was something else they used. Was it 3 6 6s, or you ever heard of that? Something like that. I remember a bottle that had
No,
some.
we
Had
had
some.
black dwarf and
And
castor
I remember the black draw. And yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. That would heal you up pretty quick. It sure
yeah,
would. Yeah. So
I don't.
did you go to town? Let's see. So you weren't that far from Lewisburg. Did you go to town to the movie theater, and
Oh,
as you got
well,
older
when you say
into
not far, 15 miles is a good distance when you ain't got
well,
a
you say
car.
you didn't have a car. That's right.
and
So
at some point, I don't remember the circumstances, but I do remember going to a drive-in movie a
mm-hmm.
couple of times
Uh-huh.
uh, in Lewisburg, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
And I may have went to a movie or two in
Mm-hmm.
Lewisburg at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And at the point when I went, the quote unquote colored folks had to go upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
and it was segregated. You
That's
couldn't
right.
sit with the white folks.
That's what I wanted to ask
Uh,
you about. Yeah, because that's the way it
yeah,
was. Well, of course, I guess it was like that all over the South. And
Yeah.
that's kind of
Well, and,
strange that they would have it set up like that. You know, that it put you up top. Because I'll tell you the truth. In Franklinton, when I remember as a small kid, and we used to go there, and when the movie was over, those white folks sitting down there, they caught it, man. Whatever was coming down from the top. You know what I'm
I,
saying? So,
well, I don't know. You know, we never had. If we went to the movie, we didn't have the luxury of buying anything to throw.
uh
Okay,
huh.
and
Okay.
if
Okay.
you bought something, you consumed it. All
You
right.
consumed it. Okay. I got you. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the bus station was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they had the well, matter of fact, like you said, everything was the
Yeah.
doctor's office. They
Yeah.
had a colored waiting room and a white waiting room.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I just thought that was I don't know. I guess as a child, since my mother and father never said anything about
It
it,
was normal.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's normal.
It was normal. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
we had a little hot dog stand in the little town of Franklinton there, where we go there to get a hot dog if you had the money to get one, and you couldn't go inside. They had a little window that you could go around to the
yeah,
side and order it. But you walk by the front and in the window there, you see the white people in there eating, and
yeah.
there's a
Well,
bunch of.
there's a somewhat popular restaurant called Gardner's in Rocky Mount.
Mm-hmm.
It's a barbecue restaurant,
Okay.
and growing up, black folks could not go inside and eat.
Right.
They had a window, like you said, around side.
Mm-hmm.
They go, and like in the summer, they had a couple picnic tables out there that you could sit in and sit at and eat. But you know, uh, you wouldn't. Everything was segregated when
Uh huh.
I grew up. Everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. White and the colored signs, and
yeah,
the water fountains, like
water
you said,
fountain,
everything. Yeah.
water fountain, everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. And
uh,
see, the thing with me, you and I, where things kind of went a little bit different. See, I actually left Franklinton when I was about 7 years old. Right
okay,
after, I remember it was right after JFK got assassinated, because that's one of the things that kind of stick in my head. Around the time frame when my mom left my dad. So, of course, the signs disappeared, the white and the colored
yeah,
signs. I went to an integrated school in Baltimore, and it was like almost like a culture shock to me at that time. And I had a really hard time going to school in Baltimore. Um, but yeah, that's just totally like a different world. On my pre-call, when I talked to you first time, you had said something about going. You go to Lewisburg. They should tell. I think you say your teachers would tell you guys how to act. Now, were you going on
oh
like
yeah,
like a school trip, or I mean,
oh no, no.
what's
Well,
behind
we
that?
later on. I mean, but this is just this not in a school trip. This is just in the school. They would tell you you know how black folks were expected to act.
Hmm.
Okay,
Now wait,
I
hold on.
mean,
Now where was the school? You told me the school name was Perry School. Was that that was in Lewisburg?
not proper,
Okay, kind of on the
but
outside. Okay.
oh, well, 10, 15 miles from Lewisburg, but a Lewisburg address.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna let you pick up where you left off about they tell you how to act.
Well,
Yeah.
just the teachers, they would tell you if you were dressed inappropriately,
Mm-hmm.
they would straighten you out. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, uh, they I guess they let you know the they had expectations of you.
These your teachers, you're saying your teacher.
Well, yeah.
Uh huh.
Uh, I guess they taught you more than just the reading, writing, and arithmetic.
When
They,
now were they black, or were they
oh,
they
yeah, all
okay.
of them,
Okay.
every one of
Gotcha. Okay.
them.
But they never would explain those white and colored signs, and I mean
Well,
nothing.
Chester, they might have came up,
Mm-hmm.
uh, when I was growing up, but I don't remember it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I mean, now, and you graduated from high school
yes,
in that area.
yeah,
So, and it was that way all the way until you graduated high school.
yes,
Those signs and
yeah,
the way that we were supposed to interact with the other race and that kind of a
yeah,
thing. So it
yeah.
stayed basically the same all the way up to the time you graduated
Yeah.
high school.
So, yeah, the
Mm.
only thing I don't remember now, I'm not saying they didn't do it, but we didn't have a school counselor.
Right.
Well, I don't remember one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember any education on how to get into college
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, even apply for loans or
Right.
none of that. It just, uh, I just thought, I guess high school was the end of it.
Was the end of it.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
so
So.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of job I was hoping to get or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But anyway, when the Air Force recruiter came through, my eyes lit up like Christmas trees.
You saw a way out. You
Oh,
saw a way out.
hey, yeah, yeah.
Now you told your dad you was gonna go to into the military. How did he?
No, I told him I was leaving.
Oh, you didn't tell him you was going to the military. You
No,
just.
I did. I hadn't seen the Air Force recruiter at the time.
Oh, okay. You'd already made your mind. You was going somewhere. Just you leaving.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let me ask you this. So now is your wife from the same area that you?
Yes.
So
she went to the same school.
now, so you left. You left the area. You went into the military, correct?
Yeah.
Were you married when you left?
Oh no.
So.
Irene and I were dating,
Mm-hmm.
but and in fact, we didn't get married till 4 years after I got out of school.
Oh, really? To have
Yeah,
4 years after what?
I got out of school.
Till you got out of. Okay, so you was in the military already for 4 years
Yes,
before you got married. You left
yes.
her. Where was she living?
They're in Lewisburg.
In Louis. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Where were you?
She actually, after she got out of school, I think she got out in '67. I got out. Yeah, I got out in '65. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
She got out in '67.
67. Okay.
Yeah.
So you joined.
She came up here to Massachusetts for a while after she got out of school.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But you went into the Air Force. Where was your first duty assignment?
My first duty assignment, believe it or not, Chester, was an Air Force base without a flight line.
Really?
Yeah, Orlando Air Force Base. It was a missile training wing.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I guess, it's now part of McCoy. Was McCoy. McCoy's probably closed now, too.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so.
Yeah.
So how long were you stationed there?
They're 67.
67.
So 2 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A year and a half.
Now let me ask you this: coming from Franklin County, with all of that was going on, were things kind of segregated in the military when you first went in?
No.
So how was that? That was like a culture shock to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was.
Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that. How was it when you say when you first went into the military?
I don't know. I guess I was a little apprehensive. Just I don't know. I stayed to myself a lot. But one thing is, I didn't really fit into the black community either. Okay, because of my complexion. All right.
Mm-hmm. Now let me. So are you part Indian?
surprisingly enough, now getting into genealogy, my fifth great grandfather was rumored to be of East Indian descent.
Okay.
There's a guy named James Weaver. Now, I have yet to prove that. Okay.
Okay.
I've seen some documentation and stuff like that where he was sued in court, and it's probably true. But I've done a Y DNA test trying to get back to that male Weaver.
Okay.
And it hasn't produced anything yet, but
okay. I got you. Yeah.
It takes a while.
Yeah. So like you said, you when you first went in, I mean, yeah, I mean, again, tell me how was it? How was it, fitting in?
Like I said, it's.
I don't know that it was. I don't remember it being
racist. Okay. But in the barracks,
we had
mixed people, but then later on, I attribute that to
the people assigning rooms not knowing who I was.
Did you feel any kind of a discrimination in, say, your early days in the Air Force? As far as
no, Chester, but then I was an admin, so there would be 2 or 3 people in the office. Okay. And most of the time, the commander was always white. The first sergeant was always white.
Okay.
And the other person would be, probably in the orderly room, would probably be white too. So,
I understand. Yeah. So, give me, so your first base again was, what did you say that was at a missile site?
Missile training wing.
Missile training.
Yeah, we would. Well, I guess we were training people to go up to the Dakotas, and when they used to have the missile silos. Okay. Training people on those things.
Okay. And how long did you stay there?
A year and a half.
Year and a half. And from there, where did you go?
I went to Pope.
Oh, you're at Pope Air Force Base. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long were you at Pope?
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
That sounds like more like a TDY versus that wasn't a PCS change.
It was
permanent change. That was a permanent change of station.
Yeah.
Really? For 6 months.
Yeah.
You must have got shipped overseas or something after that.
I did.
Okay.
I shipped to the Philippines.
Okay. How long were you at the PI?
18 months.
Okay. How'd you like it there? And again, before we get to that, how was that culture shock? Going from from where you come from, coming into the military. So you had been in the military about 2 years at that point?
Yeah.
And then going to the Philippines, totally different race of people. Everybody basically the same there. I mean, the Filipinos, right? I mean, but then again, now, I mean, there are some black and I guess you call them black and white Filipinos. I know when I was in Panama, they were black and white Panamanians. So
yeah.
But tell me about the. I never made it to the Philippines. Tell me about it.
Well, the thing I remember mostly, I guess, is we had a black general.
You had a black general?
Yeah, but was it Benjamin O. Davis?
Okay, don't ring a bell, but go ahead.
Okay, But and they had they used to train the paratroopers there out back.
Mm-hmm.
The Negrito, they had a Negrito village, and that name is exactly like it sounds. They were black Filipinos, and they were tribal. Okay,
gotcha. Now let me ask you. In saying that, did you notice a difference in the way that they treated that the Filipinos, the natives there, treated those group of people versus the other lighter complected Filipinos?
No, there was no interaction between the two.
No interaction at all between the two.
No,
really, but they were all Filipinos.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Gritos out back, you didn't see them except for one or two maybe.
So they had that segregation going on big time over there. Okay.
And when I say tribal, I mean tribal.
I got you. Okay.
You didn't go back there and mess with those folks. And like I said, they trained the Air Force paratroopers in survival.
Okay. So, I got you. So they went in the jungle. That's where they did the jungle training. Got you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I
don't know. Then see, after that, where did I go? I think I went to McCord after that.
Came back to McCord. That's in that's on the west coast. Okay. How long were you there? What
the year? Two.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. What year was that? Can you remember?
No. It would have been 68, 69.
68, 69.
68.
68. And what city, McCord? What city is that?
Tacoma.
Tacoma, Washington?
Yeah.
Pretty big city?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm quite sure there wasn't too much, segregation going on there that you could actually put your hands on. I mean, if you mingled around in the city.
Yeah, well, I there again, I didn't go downtown that much, and it's still my first memory of a real issue with race was actually in Vietnam.
Now, what year was that? Were you in Vietnam?
That was the year of 1970.
1970. Well, okay. Now, before you go to 1970 in Vietnam, let me see. In 68, where were you about 68?
That would have been leaving the Philippines, going to McCord.
Okay. Now that's about the time Martin Luther King was assassinated. So I'm just wondering if anything that, did you feel any temperature change with anything going on at that period? If you remember,
I didn't notice anything.
Okay. All right. So then you went to Vietnam, you said, right? And that's tell me about the Vietnam. I came in 75, and I think that's when they were actually pulling. Well, they started pulling out. You probably know more about it than me, but coming out of Vietnam,
they started the beautification project. That's where they took down all the sandbags around the hooches and made the place what they call it beautification.
Okay.
I call it endangering your life.
I got you. What take me back before they started doing that, when you first went to Vietnam, and tell me about that. What was it like? Because I never made it to that part of the world.
That was probably, like I said, that was the first time I ran into out racists. There was a guy. It was my first sergeant. I worked for him,
Okay.
And he did not know I was black.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one day, I think we had a fight or something at one of the shops or something.
Okay.
And there were a couple of black guys and maybe a couple of white guys were involved in it. And the first sergeant made some comment about the niggers trying to take over and something like that.
Okay.
And we had a training guy there, a training NCO, who knew my race. Now, I don't know why he knew it, but he knew it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not something that, first of all, Chester, it's not something I try to hide from anybody.
I understand. Right.
But I don't make it a point to tell you that my race is this either.
I understand.
It's I don't know. Anyway, the first sergeant's name was James E. Snellgrove from Alabama. I don't remember a lot of names or a lot of people from a lot of places, but I remember him.
I understand. Yeah.
The guy took him aside, and I guess the first sergeant must thought I was going to get him in some trouble or something. And in retrospect, I should have went to somebody and got him sanctioned, hand slapped.
I understand. Yeah.
But I didn't.
I understand. Yeah.
But other than, and I think that's probably about the only out and out races I've encountered. Now, did it exist? Of course it did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 I'm just wondering, what it was like for you coming, during that period. But overall, what was it like in Vietnam? I mean, period. The people there, and did you? I mean, I know you say you were an admin, right? I think you told me you did some Red Horse. You did some Red Horse stuff, and
I was in a Red Horse unit.
Okay.
Okay. And as an admin, I rarely did an admin work. You probably catch me on a forklift somewhere, driving a truck somewhere.
I got you.
But town, the city of Da Nang was off limits.
Why is that?
The whole time I was there.
Why was that?
Why was that?
Yeah.
It was dangerous.
Okay. Now, being that it was off limits, well, off limits means that no one, soldiers there. Did any of the soldiers, take that risk of going into Da Nang?
I mean, I don't know of any, but I'm sure that I also worked at the club. There, and part of the duties were on occasion we would drive into the city of Da Nang and pick up a band, but that was always we just go in, pick the band up, bring them back to the base. They perform. At the end of the night, we take them back and bring them back.
Okay.
But most of the time, there was some kind of a time clock on you. You only had 30 minutes to do this.
How long a trip was that?
Minutes. I mean,
just minutes.
I say 30 minutes. It could have been 45. But
so you did some driving around in Vietnam. I mean, now was any of that with doing convoy or
no,
with Red Horse, or you just short runs?
A Jeep.
Okay, I got you. So you didn't actually get into any firefights, anything like that?
Oh no! I know. Okay. The closest thing I came to a firefight is a buddy of mine that worked at the club. He had a son that was up north, was a Marine.
Okay.
And one time for whatever reason, we decided we're going to go up and see his son.
Mm-hmm.
And we got on the helicopter, and them guys locked the machine guns down. Well, I said, Lord have mercy, I've made a mistake. But we went up by helicopter.
Okay.
And we hitchhiked back by ground transport.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Now, how far was that?
You know something? I don't know. It was probably 20 miles or so, but it'd take you 2 or 3 hours to get that.
Now, I mean, the war was still going on at that point, right?
Yes.
So that was pretty dangerous, I would assume.
Oh, it was stupid.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any weapons?
No.
No weapons?
No.
Wow.
You know something? I spent 26 years in the Air Force, and I never had a weapon. The only time I ever handled a weapon was when we do it training.
Okay.
Range training. I'm sure you did that.
Oh, yeah. Now, I was in logistics my whole career. I was had a tour short tour in Egypt. And
this thing ain't working, is it? Okay.
Can you hear me? Oh, can you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. And I had the I guess the duty of having to help guard the flight line, part of in Cairo, and carrying around M16. And at the checkpoint that I was working in was with some other Egyptians. And I mean, those guys, man, no discipline. You know, those armies. I mean, I'll just say it at that point, those guys, no discipline whatsoever. And I mean, man, they were playing. Well, I guess the checkpoint we all was in was like a little building. And man, those guys playing with the guns and, you know, wanting to get their hands on my weapon and all of that. And, you know, after that first night, I might have to tell my CO man, I said, look, I can't go back to that checkpoint because, you know, something's going to happen. You know, these guys, they too aggressive, they unsafe, and I just can't operate like that. So they moved me, but, you know, that's about the extent, you know, as far as me carrying a weapon in the Air Force. But other than that, you know, I just logistics, you know, a lot of with the trucks and the heavy equipment, you know, loading planes and, you know, stuff like that. You said you were at Seymour at one point, right?
Yeah.
When were you at Seymour Johnson?
Well, what happened was I was in Hawaii. And my wife's father got ill, had a heart attack. So I asked for a humanitarian reassignment. And so I was assigned to Seymour. Actually, I retired from Seymour in 91.
Okay.
And that was kind of like we used to ride up to the Lewisburg area often there. So I never got to see much of Goldsboro.
You didn't miss much. You didn't miss nothing. No, not much there. Now, when you were at Seymour, though, now I was there at 75 to 79. They had the B-52s and the KC-135s and the F-4s at that time. Now, when you were there,
F-4s and
you still had the F-4s when you were there, or did they have the F-15s?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they had KC-10s. Is that the refueler?
Well, the KC-10 does refuel, but that KC-135s.
No, they didn't have the 135s.
Okay, KC-10s. Okay, the 135s were there when I was there. And so that's the wing. I worked with the bombers and the 135s when I was there from 79 to 75. As a logistics guy.
It could have been 135.
Okay. But yeah, I was there for 4 years.
You know what, Chester? They brought the F-15s in when I was there.
Okay. How long were you there?
So I think I went there at 87, 88. So I was there 3 years.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I remember now that they brought the F-15 in.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of. I worked for the wing commander there.
Okay.
That was a big deal.
Mm-hmm. You work for the wing commander?
Yeah.
Oh, you high profile, man.
No.
Huh?
I'm just a flunky.
You're just well, you had been running things at that point.
Well, no, they had a captain in there,
mm-hmm.
or whatever. But you know, it was go down to the supply squad and get the wing commander's jacket, set up the wing commander's flight itinerary. You know,
tough duty. You had it tough, didn't you, Matt?
Yeah. we had a lot of visitors. So whenever a visitor was coming, and they stay at the quarters, you go to the quarters, make sure the quarters was nice and clean.
Yeah.
Leave a fruit basket.
Oh my God, man. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sound like pretty rough duty to me.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So but now take me back now to you you went in, you had already met your wife.
Yeah.
Now you went back, and of course you married your wife, right?
Well, we got married right before I went to Vietnam.
Okay, before you went to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Okay.
En route to Vietnam, I left Washington, and we got married here in Springfield. Well, in Springfield, while I was on the way to Vietnam.
Okay.
And then we left Vietnam and we went to Germany.
Well, when you say we,
well, I did, and that's the first place we lived together.
The first place you lived together was where?
Lived together was in Germany.
Was in Germany. Oh, you went to Germany. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 4 years.
Now, how did she feel about that traveling? Leaving the Carolinas, or was she in the Carolinas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think my wife always was ready for it. She really liked it. She, she embraced it. Okay.
Okay.
So, matter of fact, some of the friends we met in Germany are still friends to this day. We don't stay in constant contact, but
What part of Germany? What part of Germany was it?
We were at Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they later on sent me to Spangdahlem.
Okay.
But I lived at Pittsburgh base housing.
Okay. Yeah. Now, see, that's a place I never made a permanent duty. Going through, going TDY, fly through, refuel, and head on to wherever we were going, in Germany, but never had any permanent change of stations in that part of the world.
Oh, is that right? Well, we did 4 years in Holland too.
Really? How was that?
Yeah. Oh, that was plush.
Really?
Yeah. I love the lifestyle there. They take up the sidewalks on Saturday at noon.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I looked to TDY and the Azores, and just a totally different kind of, like you said. I mean, just my experience that that's probably somewhere I could probably live at a place like that.
Oh,
my daughter is Portuguese.
Oh, you said your daughter lives. You said your daughter is.
My daughter-in-law is Portuguese.
Oh, she is. Oh,
yeah.
So where is she? She from the mainland, or she's from the island?
Born here in the States, but she's a Portuguese descent. So my granddaughter is Portuguese.
Okay.
If you see the picture, the shorter one, the younger one.
Yeah, the one I commented on the other day. I think you posted. Yeah. That's some good looking young ladies, man. Yeah. So those are your granddaughters, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's your Your son's daughters?
Yeah, my oldest son, the one that lives here.
Okay. And you live in was it Boston now, right?
I live in Chicopee. It's Boston is east of Mass. I'm in Western Mass.
Western Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's all of 100 miles. Okay.
Okay,
So
I got you.
not a very big state.
Okay. So how many children between you and with you and your wife? How many?
Two.
Two, and how many grandkids?
3.
Now I call them kids, but they are grown. Correct?
Yeah. Well, actually, the youngest grandchild is 18.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got great grands?
No.
No great grands yet?
No.
Okay. You just said get oldest is 18. Oldest grand is 18. Gotcha.
No, the youngest grand is 18.
Oh, the youngest. Well, how old's the oldest?
30.
Okay. No kids yet from the 30-year-old.
No.
What they waiting for?
I'm not rushing them, Chuck.
You're not rushing them?
No. I subscribe to the thing that if you bring a child in this world, be prepared to take care of it. So
yeah, that's true.
I ain't gonna rush you to do that. You live your life, and when you bring a child in, be prepared to give your life up.
Yeah.
Transition from part 2 to part 3 of 3.
What bases were you assigned to?
Okay. But out of basic training, I went to Orlando Air Force Base.
Okay.
Which is not McCoy, but Orlando Air Force Base. There's a missile training wing there. Then I went to Pope.
Okay.
I wasn't at Pope very long. Then I went to Clark in the Philippines.
Right.
Then I went to McCoy in Washington, Tacoma, Washington. Then I went to Da Nang, Vietnam.
Okay.
Left Vietnam, and I got married from McCoy to Da Nang. Okay. So then we went to Bitburg, Germany, and Bitburg and Spangdahlem was one base when I first went there. They were part of the 36th Tactical Fighter Wing. But then while I was there, they separated them and brought in the 52nd Tactical Fighter Wing to Spangdahlem. And so they traded, got some people from Bitburg and moved them to Spangdahlem only by, just job wise. There was no reassignment or anything. You just.
What were they? F4s at that on that base? What kind of fighters they have there?
Okay. It was F4s.
Okay.
And Spangdahlem, we had F4s and EB-66s, I think it was. They were electronic warfare specialists. Yeah, I think it was EB. It was a B-66, and I think they stick the E on it for electronic jamming.
Gotcha.
Okay. From Bitburg, we went to Alfred.
That's is that Nebraska?
Yeah, Omaha.
Okay. B-52s.
Well, I was in the civil engineering squadron, but I worked part-time at headquarters SAC. In order to get a job in there, you had to have security clearance.
Right. Now, I mean, now was that a missile? Was that missile, or did they have the B-52s there? Or was that a missile base?
I think they had the B-52s at Alpha.
Okay.
I think they had the B-52s there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then from Alpha, we went to. I went to Diyarbakir, Turkey.
You left the missus home then, Turkey, when you went to Turkey?
Yeah.
How long were you at
Turkey? She 1 year, so remote assignment.
Okay.
It's Diyarbakir is way up in the corner, Syria, Iran, Iraq. Okay.
What time frame was that, if you remember?
Okay, the Albuquerque was 1977.
77. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure what was going on at that time. Nothing much. I don't think anything was hot at that time. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
The place I was at, the Albuquerque, there was no flight line again, and they had the big, we call them elephant ear listening things,
Okay.
so you could listen to communications in and out of Russia.
Right.
Okay, and the Black Sea.
Okay.
And matter of fact, one of the things I remember about there is you couldn't get any radio reception unless you had what we call was a Betty box. Essentially, it was a box with copper wire, so that you could jam out the signal from those elephant ears.
Okay. I got you.
And the other thing I remember about there is there was no trees anywhere except for a few that they had planted on the base.
Really?
So, yeah.
Wow.
And that's significant because the storks used to come and nest there in the year. And when the storks nest, you couldn't walk down the street without an umbrella.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, that bad.
Wow. Wow.
And then from the Albuquerque, we went to Canton, Amsterdam, Netherlands. That turned out to be one of our most enjoyable tours. Then from there, I went to Langley.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not at Langley very long. Then I went to Bowling.
Okay.
Pentagon.
Well, that's basically across the street, right?
What, Pentagon from Bowling?
I mean, Langley's in Virginia. No, let's see, Langley's down in
Langley's in Virginia, but
that's down about north. Okay, that's a good little distance. Okay, yeah.
Oh, it's a yes, a good little distance because
I'm thinking Andrews and Bowling. Okay, but you would
Andrews and Bowling are
pretty
right
close
there together.
Yeah, right. Okay,
but Langley is out down south, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's down Newport News area.
Yeah. Hampton Roads.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. And then from Bowling, Pentagon, we went to Hickam.
Gee.
Yeah.
How did you like it at Hickam?
Well, I loved it. The weather was. You can't argue with the weather there.
How long were you? How long were you at Hickam?
I was there for a 3-year tour.
Wow.
But I applied for a humanitarian assignment because my father-in-law was ill and it needed some help. But my mother-in-law didn't drive. So a lot of pressure was on my sister-in-law to take him back and forth to the hospital. In Durham.
Okay.
And not Durham, Chapel Hill, I think it was. Anyway, and while it's a good hour drive from out there where we were living in the country to the hospital.
Right.
So I applied for a humanitarian assignment to Seymour Johnson and got it.
Okay.
So, and I stayed there until I retired in 91.
Okay. I got you. Now, so let's see. The Pentagon. You at the Pentagon how long?
I was there about 3 years. I think that was a 3-year tour.
What did you do at the Pentagon? I mean, I know you're admin, but Pentagon. That's some pretty high tech, stuff going on there.
Well, matter of fact, that's where I got off into computers at. Is at Pentagon. Okay. I worked in C3, and I was the only enlisted guy in the office. There was 2 high-powered civilians and a Navy captain, an Air Force captain, and a couple other, I think it was a lieutenant colonel or something like that. But anyway, when I was there, they brought in a network, and that was at the beginning of networking, if you will. Okay.
What year? What year, if you can remember, was that?
See, I was at the Pentagon. Let's see, 83. So about 84 would have been the year they brought the network in.
Yeah, I was trying to think, because I remember I was at Dover. I was at Dover during that time, and I remember I was pretty tight with the admin folks there in the orderly room, and I remember they had. I mean, I think when we used to have I just call them word processors before they went to computers,
no.
or
we had word processors too, but we upgraded from the word processor
to the computer
to a network. Okay. So there's a world of difference between a word processor and a network. But since I was proficient on the word processor, and they brought the network in, they needed somebody to admin the network. And of course, they needed someone that was expendable, if you will. So if it didn't work out, they could, none of them were it was grunt work.
Did they send you to school for that?
Yes, they did.
Where did you go to school to learn that system?
Well, they had classes there in Washington D.C. Trying to think of what the neighborhood was. I can't remember the neighborhood, but it's right there. Anyway, it was right there in Washington.
Started with the what y'all start? Excuse me. Start with the IBMs, or?
No, it was a Wang VS85. And back at that time, of course, now you know about Ethernet and all that, but this wasn't Ethernet. This was hard wires. There were two hard wires for each workstation, one input and one output. And they were coax coded cables, so they couldn't run like 20 feet or so. So, as a matter of fact, I remember bringing in equipment, setting up in the hallway, seeing if they could intercept our transmissions on the equipment. So the keyboard, everything you use was it was high tech.
So that's when you kind of, I guess, really, well, I won't say you felt like you was doing something. I mean, you were doing something important the whole time, but I mean that was like a big transition, wasn't it? Period.
Well, I don't know.
Or was it, being in the admin field because I remember like I said, from the typewriters to the word processors, and then all at once they started with those computer systems that, I remember in our orderly room. That's about the first time that I had seen anything like that. Was I think back in the 80s, I guess, late 70s, maybe early 80s.
And they had the big 8-inch floppy disk.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And of course, a big part of my duties involved security. Just disposing of classified waste, securing the stuff at night, making sure it was secured, opening it up in the morning, getting it out. So I used to go burn a lot.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Matter of fact, at Spain Dolan, I had kind of gotten into word processors before the Pentagon. We had a word processor at Spain Dolan, where I used to do the operational plans And of course, that was top secret, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And as a matter of fact, there I used to, when you used to go to the, I don't know, I forgot what they call them, where they ran the copies of stuff off at. They had the big machines where we made operation plans at.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to learn to do those things too, because the guys working in the office didn't have the clearance to run the copy, the plans.
Okay.
So I go in there, you know, shut the place down, run everybody out,
Mm-hmm.
and do my job. And when I leave, it's kind of like when you go fishing. You take anything in, you bring it back out, right?
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I went to the Pentagon, I think, one time in my whole career when I was stationed at Dover. I cannot for the life of me remember what business I had there, but for some reason I had to go to the Pentagon. I don't. We maybe were delivering. Now I was in logistics, so probably we was delivering some kind of classified information that had to be hand carried.
Yeah.
In. Yeah, because I mean it was just an in and out. Take it to wherever it had to go, and whoever signed for whatever they had to sign for, and you out the door.
Yeah.
Wasn't no tours going on.
Oh, yeah. I used to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
We had to mail plans to various places, and so you got to double seal them, and then there was a protocol that you had to use and a special tape that you had to use to seal
Right.
them and
Yeah.
send them out by registered mail and
Mm-hmm.
blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. So from the Pentagon was that the last? So was that your last stop?
No. We went to Hickam from the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm. Well, before you leave the Pentagon, where were you quartered? In the
I lived on
civilian. You lived on Bowling.
Yeah.
Bowling base housing.
Yeah.
Okay, I got the yeah. So that's what was it, about a 20-30 minute drive in the morning? Depending on traffic.
On a good day. Mm-hmm. But that while I was there, carpool and van pooling became popular. So I drove a van pool most of the time from Bowling to the Pentagon. Mm-hmm. So I think it was like one of these Chevy, probably 8-9 passenger vans.
Mm-hmm.
It was a business for some guy, and he hired somebody to drive them, and I was that person. Mm-hmm. So
okay. From the Pentagon, where did you go from the Pentagon?
We went to Hickam.
Hickam, okay. And you said started as a 3-year, but how long were you there?
About 2 years, a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. That's tropical all year, right?
Yeah. That weather's hard to beat.
Yeah, my wife and I we did a 3-year tour in Panama. So that you ever been down to South America?
Well, I went through Panama one time on a cruise ship.
Okay. You went down through the canal?
No.
Oh, you didn't go through the canal?
No. We were not. I'm sorry, not Panama. I'm thinking of where ship stopped at, right? Where did our ship stop at?
On the Bahamas. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's where my wife's folks are from. She from the Bahamas. But yeah, we did a 3-year tour down in Panama at Howard, and I don't think it's probably anything as for weather-wise like Hawaii, but it was it was tropical and it was nice. So I can imagine what it was like at Hickam.
Yeah. Hickam was very nice. We had a banyan tree in the backyard,
Mm-hmm. What kind of tree?
Banyan.
What is that? What is it? That's a fruit.
No. I don't know how to tell you what it is, Chester.
Mm-hmm.
It's a poplar tree, Banyan.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot of roots and limbs.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, after the military, I worked on a network called the Banyan Network.
Really?
Because, yeah.
I'll have to look that up. I've never even heard that word before, but I'll look that up.
Banyan.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. The Banyan Network is like we're up extinct or gone now. But once you get off into once I got off into networking at the Pentagon, everywhere I went, they say you've seen a computer before, so you're going over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds exciting. I mean, especially with computers. Did you have to write any programs when you first started with computers?
I did some classes in programming in college.
Okay.
But I don't like programming.
Mm-hmm.
It's too strict. Yeah, I'm a fuzzy thinker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I took some programming when I left Dover. Had a 1-year tour in Osan, Korea, South Korea.
Yeah.
So to help pass that time, I took some classes, and I took a programming class over there. And pretty exciting, learn how to write those programs. To me it was, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you got to understand when you're doing that, those programs do exactly what you tell them to do. Yeah. Nothing more, nothing less.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. That's right. So where did we go from Hickam?
That's where we went to Seymour.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's where you finished it off.
Yeah. Well, they had the F4s at Seymour when I first went there.
Mm-hmm.
And they transitioned to the F15s when
F15s. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was that F15. That's a pretty exciting bird there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know they had a refueling squadron there. I didn't think it was 135, but it may have been. I was thinking it was something else.
Yeah, I think it was. Now I know when I was there, it was 135s. I took my grandkids up there. It's been some years now from here after I had retired to an air show up there, and they still had some 135s up there. So I don't know. I don't know if they, like you said, the KC-10s. I don't know if they brought them in or what. But
okay.
Yeah, it used to be.
I thought there was 10s. I know there were refuelers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, tell me about the family, Mac. Your family.
My wife and I met in school.
Mm-hmm.
Perry School, and we started dating. And matter of fact, she was probably my first girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then she moved around with me. She's been probably she's been a driving force, because some of those places I went before her, and she had to travel with 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I say kids, I mean kids. I don't mean
little ones.
Yeah,
almost babies, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I know she came to Hawaii after I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And she came to we might have went. Did we go to Holland together, babe? Okay. No, we didn't go to. No, yeah, I remember now. We didn't go to Holland together, so she had to come after that. And then during that time, there was no flying commercial flight in, and you go down to New Jersey and get on that contract carrier or whatever, and fly into Germany, and then
Mm-hmm.
you know,
New Jersey. What was in? What base is that?
Jesus, what was the name of that base? McGuire.
McGuire. There it is. Yeah. It had Fort
I don't
Dix
know what
up there.
they were flying, but they were like Travis on the West Coast, contract regular passenger planes.
Oh, they were okay. Probably. Now I know we was flying around at
Air Tiger. Remember them guys?
yeah. Braniff was one of them that I remember.
The
commercial that they would contract.
Well, as a matter of fact, out of Vietnam, that's how I got to Hawaii. That's how we went to Hawaii by R&R out of Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
So we met in Hawaii and had a honeymoon in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
I got married before I went to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they were contract. Later on, I found out they were probably all operated by the CIA.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how long you all been married?
We got married in 1969. So, December the 13th, 1969.
69.
So, 54 years.
Y'all been kicking it a while, man.
Yeah,
that's a blessing. But Mac, let me ask you. From what we've talked about, is it anything else you want to cover while we?
No, I can't think of anything, Chester.
Okay.
Stuff. Hey, life was hard growing up, wasn't it?
It was, man. I mean, I came up pretty hard, Mac. I call it a broken family, and for a while I was passed around like a basketball.
Yeah.
From one house to the other, and to the other. I mean, you sound like you come from a basically pretty stable home.
Well,
no matter the conditions, sounds pretty stable.
Yeah, it was stable. It was not. I don't think there was much love in there, but it was stable.
Mm-hmm.
It was just probably. I don't know, Chester. It's just.
Maybe not a love, but a lot of direction, right?
Oh yeah.
Well,
not direction like you might think of it, but other than that, there's a heavy. I don't know if you looked up the Halawa Saponi or not, but there's a heavy Halawa Saponi influence in my extended family, not my immediate family.
Okay. Send me some information on that. You got my email. You see the email I'm sending from. I hope some of the questions I was asking you, weren't offensive.
No. You're going to do better than that to offend me.
You gotta. From what I've seen, you have a beautiful blended. You got a blended family. Looks like, And I think we all got a mixture of. There's nothing pure as far as race. I don't think, we all got a mix of something in us somewhere. I mean, it's just my feelings. So like I said, any of the questions I ask, especially when I was not actually keying in on race, but, it's just a part of the life,
that
we're going through. And,
well, I will say that I don't think Irene and I have not tried to make race a central part of our life.
Mm-hmm.
You live life like you want to. You go do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
If that involves something that might not be traditionally associated with this race, then that's your problem.
Right. That's right.
We tried not to raise our kids racist, and I don't think they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the only way you're going to get the world to be tolerant is to not teach it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Let me ask you this: the way that you came up, well, I put it this way: the way that I came up with, for all that being passed around and the living conditions, some of the living conditions that I lived in, I didn't want my kids to experience that. So, my wife and I think in a way, I think we gave them too much, so they didn't learn too much.
Yeah, I understand. I think I understand exactly what you're saying because to the point where I didn't impart that to my kids because I didn't want them to deal with it. But I probably should have because they would have appreciated some of the things they have.
Exactly.
I think maybe Marcus, my oldest son, is coming around because he talks about some of the things and appreciating the things that were available to him, like Hawaii, and he sometimes he'll be talking to somebody and he'll say something that keys me to believe that he got something out of it somewhere along the line. Maybe it's not as much as I wish he would have, but he got something.
Got something.
Yeah. And I think my youngest son had a great appreciation for his life. I don't know. When we got out of the military, when I retired, and we moved to Massachusetts, my oldest son did not move here with us immediately.
Okay.
He was, I guess, about 18 at the time, and that testosterone was really hitting heavy. And but I'm glad we didn't give up on him. We went back down and got him and brought him up here with us. And, but there are some things like my oldest granddaughter. We weren't ready for her. He wasn't ready for her, and the mother. But that doesn't stop us from loving her.
Right. That's right. That's right.
It's I don't know. It's just I don't think I don't think anybody appreciates life like I do. It's like the 3 people we lost in this week.
Right. Yeah.
People don't understand. It ain't free, buddy. Yeah. Somebody pays the price.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. I like I said, like you saying, I remember, the way that I came up, man. I mean, I couldn't go over to the wall and, hit a light switch or turn a knob to get heat.
Change the channel on TV.
Change channel. I mean, TV, man. I mean, when I think I didn't see a TV to probably I was in the first grade, and I didn't know what it was, what that thing, I'm looking all under the bottom trying to see these little people running around, inside this box. And so, and like you said, my dad, he raised, chickens. We ate eggs, before we moved to Baltimore, we ate the eggs that the chickens laid, and, he slaughtered the hogs. And, that's just the way we grew up,
That. Well, growing up, I had a part-time job working at the chicken house on Saturday and Sunday.
Oh my God.
I went in and I got up eggs on Saturday and Sunday. So when I come home on Sunday, I bring eggs with me. We eat eggs all week. And I drove school bus. So I made $29 a month. Boy, I was living high on the hog with that.
Yeah, well, like I said, we some of the same. I drove school bus from, let me see, I think maybe 11th and 12th grade. Back then we were that mature. 16 years old that we were driving. Responsible for 50 some kids.
Yeah.
I don't think you could trust these kids these days.
I don't think so. What do you think?
I don't want no kid of mine, grandkid of mine, get on the bus with them.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. My grandson, some of the kids in the neighborhood here, I couldn't see, any of these guys. They getting into the teens. One of his friends, he's just learning how to drive, and there's no way in the world I could see that boy driving a school bus with a bunch of kids on there, every day, getting them, safely to and from. But um, like I said, I think it's just the way we came up, man. We had a lot of responsibility. Um, you know, I guess you call it the farm or whatever. You had to make your own way.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
just those animals that you had there. Hey, you had to take care of them.
yeah, you did.
That was part of your life.
Yeah, that's
if
right.
you wanted to eat, you fed that chicken.
That's right. That's right. And I was talking to you about you telling me about your water supply, the well and the pump, right?
Yeah.
Now, I tell you one thing I learned from that old, we had I call it a community pump where, the little neighborhood,
Yeah.
everybody would go to that one area if we had a well in the yard, but the well went dry, so we had to go to the pump. So you couldn't use all of that water because you had to take some water with you to prime that pump. And one thing I learned from priming that pump, people are like that. Sometimes you got to prime people to get what you want out of them.
Yep.
And that's kind of the way I operated through my time through the military. And I kind of always considered myself to be a leader, and everywhere I went, I kind of fell into that position as being the one in charge. Even as a lower ranking airman, I was the one that looked like they would give the responsibility to run stuff. And I guess I just knew how to prime people to get what I needed out of them. I had to give them something to get something back. So the conditions that I lived in, I just learned a lot from that. And that's why I go back to say, the way that, I say I contribute to raising our kids. I'm not gonna say it hurt them, but if I didn't give them so much, I think they would have learned a lot more.
Yeah.
Just my way of thinking. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But now, but is it anything else, Mac, you want to close with?
No.
Yeah.
I say I'd talk all night, but hey.
Well, I enjoyed talking to you, man. I appreciate you letting me interview you and sharing your story. But don't let this be the last time we talk, because I know we're talking back and forth, on the social media. But hey, anytime you want to to talk, man, I'd rather talk to you this way than to talk to you on the on the cell phone. where I can see you face to face.
Okay.
Yeah. So anytime you want to talk, man, just send me a notification, and we can chat some, or anything important coming up you want to put out there, we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to you later, Chester.
All right, Mac. Appreciate it, man. But I'll be in touch. All right. Have a good night. All right. Bye-bye.